Hello and welcome to the NBA PhD show for today, the 31st of October. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us. Congrats to WTF Bra bringing home the highest score in the chat with a 399. I had a pretty good night too with what was it? It's again frustrations. So we'll talk about the frustrations, but my FanDuel lineup was really good. Just Cam Thomas, man. Get some shots. Just take more shots. What the only painful part of that was the Cam Thomas not going off. And so I will move on. I also did tie my highest points ever on DraftKings, but you know what the kind of slate it was. You had to score infinity points. No, no, just can I not just look at it? Okay, yeah. So I had Roddy. You guys knew Richards. I was all over Richards. I had those Brooklyn guys, and Wilson was. I mean, he's min price to get 23 points. It was pretty good. So if Roddy could have not been in foul trouble, this one could have possibly taken down, gone over 400 as well. But that's how it goes. I'm pretty happy with like half of the nights we have, shots at taking down. I'm going to keep the unofficial sponsorship for right now with Jordan Spieth's Fairway Frenzy because haven't gone golfing in a while. And I still don't really miss golf that much because of the game. Okay, so yeah, we got Bradley Beal went through shoot around, but who knows what's going to happen there. No other real news. We got the Smart ruled out, Konchar questionable, and Bain ruled out. But what did they do? So I want to bring up what did Memphis do on the second half of a back-to-back last time? Well, they didn't play the starters very much at all. They basically gave up right away. They played first shift for Edie. Okay, he got in foul trouble. First shift for Ja was 5.5 minutes. Not great. Not ideal. Second shift, also 5.5 minutes. I mean, like, that's like preseason stuff for these guys. So they're not, and this had Bane in it for 28 minutes, so those got to go somewhere as well. And I think basically if Konchar's ruled out, just jam Laravia, give Laravia those minutes. They've been going Laravia. You can see I also had up their game when everybody got hurt, which is this one. And you can loosely see the people who come in and are comps for Marcus Smart. You get, I mean, Pippen was in before him for Bane, but I assume Pippen's running the point there. Because Jaw's out as well at that point. This Jaw first shift is always 5.5 minutes. So it's not great even on the first half of a back-to-back. It's consistent. Maybe it changes soon. I think they're at the end of getting towards the end of this window where they have a lot of games. Talk about the rules. You guys up. I added max 2 out of 3 for big 3 for Phoenix. I got max 2 out of 4 for the big 4 for Houston. Nurkic foul trouble and Lively Gafford fork. Those are our options today. Besides that, Norman Powell just too low projection. I boosted him 5 minutes. Um, Also, I kind of wanted more exposure to these late games because I think we'll get some weird news throughout the night, and that's when you pounce and change things up. Okay, so Derek yeah, right. So because of our Lively Gafford fork, we'll likely have a lot of Lively and Gafford. Let's see what do we got here. Hide lineups, and let's just look at exposures. Booker, Chris Paul. Okay, whatever. We got questionable. Yeah, Chris Paul is questionable in that game. Wasn't there somebody questionable in the Phoenix game? Yeah, Bradley Beal. So if Beal misses, you're going to want whatever happens instead of Beal. I saw Damian Lee was in the first team or whatever, but probably not on FanDuel as much as on DraftKings. But yeah, FanDuel obviously. I'm liking where they're at these days, so thus the focus on FanDuel first. We'll go FanDuel basketball, DraftKings basketball, and then the main slate or the showdown for football as well on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I don't know if I'm even going to talk about it. It's not even that fun of a game. I probably won't play Showdown anymore on FanDuel. It's just not the same game. It's not a fun game. It's just like you're watching the game, you want to gamble a little bit. So if they give me, if they do some satellite stuff where it's a positive EV play, maybe I'll play it, but not generally. I don't know why we got Delon Wright so heavy. This doesn't feel right to me. What Milwaukee has somebody out? Blowout possibilities, I guess. I'm fine with a little Delon Wright, but like not over 15%. So I'll cap him at shooter's amount because I need him to pop off in a relatively limited minutes in a blowout. But yeah, besides that, fine with Norm Powell being a 75% guy. He's just a great play today. Gets a ton of minutes, ton of usage, and against a team that's scoring a lot of points. He's even getting peripheral stats, right? Yeah, like 4 rebounds and assists. stock. Yeah, you're getting some peripheral stats from him as he's out on the court. Basically, you can see my strategy tonight. I'm jamming the questionable guys, and then I'll pivot to whoever's in. That's the whole thing. I want more Sochan, right? He's a good. So that's the danger when you do all this stuff is you swamp the good value. What's Sochan's minutes been like? Thought he had a few more minutes. 31, 34, 37. So we think this game will be close, right? Yeah. So we think it's gonna be more like a 37. I agree with that. So I think the median for Sochan tonight like 36. I just he's close. I expected him to be a core play. I'm surprised he wasn't a core play. What's the chance of Nurkic foul trouble against Zubac? I have it here at 20. That's too high. Let's say 10, 8 to 10% of Zubac or of Nurkic losing enough minutes that Plumlee gets significantly extended and smashes. Okay, a lot of Chris Paul, a lot of Devin Booker, a lot of Konchar, a lot of Sochan. And these are all obviously placeholders. If Konchar's out, you told me, I told you already, we go to Laravia. Like we got to be like water out here. Amen Thompson, not on FanDuel, not more than 15%. Not sure exactly why we've boosted him quite so much there. I think I'm just going to go back to the original. It must have been minutes, right? 19 minutes. Amen Thompson stats. Didn't he get like 20 something? 24 in a close game. That's what I'm thinking. He might get extended in a close game, I guess. I just don't. Is this a close game? I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't feel that anymore. I'm gonna undo it. Okay. Van Fleet, good play. Marketing questionable. Another play that you want to have some of. At 40% though, I don't know. It's a whole slate thing. I just don't feel that strongly about marketing either way. Okay, let's see. Apply some of these changes and let it tell me it can't do it. Okay. Don't really care for now. I'll rebuild and come back to this later, probably without you guys. So that's all I got for FanDuel. Let's go over to DraftKings. Roughly the same. We got the lower price plays are more in play on DraftKings than they are on FanDuel. Just as a reminder, it's easier for a 3K person to reach value than a 4K person to reach value. So generally, like when I'm doing these forks and stuff, I don't need to be as fastidious on FanDuel because the bottom part of the fork is just not paying off. You don't need it to be in the pool. But on DraftKings, Zubac's foul trouble is fun because Kai Jones and Zubac in the most recent game fully split the 48. And if they fully split the 48 against Phoenix, who has Nurkic, who has Plumlee, who will probably be trying to match up big, who could go small, but like at some point that involves a what? A matchup of who's their small Royce? It's Royce is the small ball five. Yeah, Royce or like Ryan Dunn against Zubats? Not gonna happen. Or against Kai Jones. I think even Kai Jones could slam them, right? So I don't know. I like both sides of this. I think it's hilarious. I think the ownerships in this game are hilarious and a great example of why we do what we do with centers, right? So Zubats, Nurkic, Plumlee, and Kai Jones are some of the best plays on the slate. Only one of them is recognized as one of the best plays of the slate. Everybody has seen Zubats smashing the balls off of everything. So they're playing Zubats. However, Nurkic, 3.6%. Guess what? They're going to try to stop Zubats. Mason Plumlee, 2.4%. And when they do, it might fail. Kai Jones, 1%. There's a 1% chance that Zubats gets in foul trouble against Nurkic. It's not 1%. Anyway, so we've got all of these guys. I love the pivot. And I'm just telling you, yeah, this is DraftKings. So these should not be solo owned on DraftKings. That is just a mistake. No other way to say it. These other guys like Chris Dunn, Amir Coffey are in play. They're just so low priced and they are in the rotation for this team. So that's why I've left them in play. It's not because I love them. It's not because I think they're good. I just think they could get you there and you'll need them. You particularly need them in your pool for late swaps, right? Like you're not going to keep those guys in a lineup that's smashing, right? You're going to go to a regular play in a swap. So that's what I expect to happen. And then I want them to be there. And that's the thing. Be careful when you're swapping. Like if you click the late swap button too fast, then it won't remember all of your leans here. And double check. Like sometimes I think it's re-including people in the pool when I swap. I don't know. You might need to do the entire process from the top. Maybe right, that's when I unclicked the max exposures button. Because when you unclick the max exposures button, it brings everybody back in the pool. That's an unintended consequence I haven't been pinning down. Okay, I do that before. I had been doing that before before late swaps. But now I need to be careful because when you do that, it's going to erase my player pool preferences, and that explains how I get these weird guys who sometimes win me the slate. But I don't want them to be there. They're mistakes. Okay, I like all these weird plays. I'm not going to change anything for now. On DraftKings side, I've said everything. Yeah, I've said all the rules. Zubac's foul trouble, draw. Yeah, max one Memphis point guard. I turned on that rule. It is Konchar or Pippen. I don't know who's going to get extended, but I think one of them will get extended. That's assuming Ja is out. So on DraftKings, I'm just gonna wait. Right. I left the rule on and I undid the projections. So yeah, we don't actually expect Ja to be out. I also don't expect Ja to get 29 minutes, right? I mean, we saw what was it, 25 minutes in the second half of the back-to-back, and in the most recent game, 29. So 27, I think conservatively for him. For Jaren, 28 and 23. So I think these are, I don't know, second half of a back-to-back. I do not play them. I do not play Sharon, I do not play Ja. I just do not trust it. And like, it's not that I don't trust it. I do trust. I trust that the coach is not lying. Why would he lie about this? There's no reason for him to lie about it. He gains nothing. It's revealing a strategy he probably shouldn't have revealed, right? Like we should probably have just picked up on it. So anyway, that's why I don't really, yeah, I'm not gonna play any of these guys who are the main guys for Memphis. They're not gonna get the minutes. Now, who was it? Laravia, I think, got stuck with 28 minutes in this second half of a back-to-back. Let's have a look. Laravia, 23. And in the most recent game, Laravia, 26. So he's somebody who's being underprojected because Laravia is being projected for 21, which is below both of those numbers. So he's got to be in your pool, and you want him to be at like 22 or 3. 3. Well, let's say 3 because I think he's the guy who gets the default minutes. And it's particularly if Konchar's out, obviously you move all your Konchar shares and you move Laravia to like 28 or something. Then, yeah, I don't know what to do with some of these other guys. So for now, I'm just going to say, okay, done with this. Don't have anything more to say. And for the DraftKings slate, what? Any leverage plays I want to say? Norman Powell, Sochan, Jalen Green. Right, Jalen Green's also someone whose usage is up on recently. So I'm boosting his usage within the team. Him, Sengun, I have the max 2 out of 3 rule with him, max 2 out of 4 with him, Sengun, Van Vliet, and Jabari Smith Jr., who don't forget is not always great. When he's popping off, he can really pour it in, and they'll extend him a little bit to that 36-minute mark, and he pours in it. So yes, he will kill you for sure a lot of the time. However, he hasn't had one of those games where he doesn't kill you yet, and it's coming. Okay, and it's probably, yeah, I don't really think he's that much favored by FanDuel over DraftKings. All right, on to the DraftKings slate for football. I'm just gonna let Saberson fill it up, man. I mean, like I haven't been doing that great with these rules on football. You know, the one rule I would have is what Braylon or Brees, but I don't know. Like, didn't it kind of happen recently where they both were optimal? I know it has been happening every single week for Montgomery and Gibbs, neither one of whom I'm having in the player pool. Every single week, optimal smash, showdown, classic, doesn't matter. They're optimal all the time. So I I'm just going to leave those games in the sim now. I'm not going to leave that rule where I say it's got to be Brees or it's got to be Braylon. They're two pretty good running backs. I could see both reasons why they would both get there. Okay, so now I'm going to do the thing where I filter out half of the lineups because they are too duped. So what do I go? I do add a new filter, and we say contest sims target contest dupes. I'm doing tiny ones. Less than, it doesn't matter. This is not a real number. It's just to eliminate 1/3 of the field. That's half the field. That's too much. Don't want to have quite that much of an effect. Let's say, that's still kind of a little more. That's like, it's like a third, 40%. I'll allow more than one dupe. Let's see. Let's get this rule to just be cutting out the 20% of worst duped lineups. Yeah, that's 30%. Okay, 30% of worst dupes. All right, so now let's cut out. I don't want so much Tank Dell. I think he's a fine option for what? 7 times the 21? That's still a bit much. That's, I'm fine. I like Tank Dell. 3x the field on his captain ownership is fine. I'm just going to take him under the field on regular ownership. Devontae Adams. Yes, you get it. Uh, Garrett Wilson. Oh, I did my regular thing with the quarterbacks. I don't think either one of these guys is mobile enough to consider as a captain. Tyler Conklin, way underowned. Love that. Okay. Don't need to do much here. Got your Rodgers and Stroud, and look at this, 80 and 64. So even though I'm fading them at captain, I am 44% double quarterbacks. You got to do it today. They're there. They're gonna throw the ball, both of these guys. And they might do the other thing, but no guarantees. Way too much Tank Dell, probably. Yeah, I want to be under the field. This is a stand I'm gonna make for Tank Dell. I think he either smashes or goes broke. And so I don't want him in flex. I only want him captain. And yeah, I did that the other day and it really worked on that one slate. And who else do I feel that way about? They either smash the absolute balls to the wall off or they do not win you the slate. So let's look at it from a captain perspective. Because remember, the run pure guys have been winning kind of by doing some amount of this guy's the best. Well, this guy's gonna slam. He's got star potential. Ooh, I guess that's also ship it, guys. Not trying to be rude. I'm just saying I do think there's something to doing a layer of this, right? Where we make sure, is Dalton Schultz really going to have that kind of upside where he's the slate breaker? How often is he getting to 30? 1%, right? Now, what's his like at this salary? Maybe he can get there if he gets to 25, but still we're talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5%. Well, I got him. I got 9% in my pool. I got him 5%. Okay, that's fine. He's not. There's no meat on the bone here, but it's an option. Like he could get there. I'm not going to talk myself completely out of it, but prefer to have Mixon, whose role is very secure on this team. No, I can see this too. One thing I when I do the splitting the baby thing, Brees and Joe Mixon being like this, I don't know. I don't love projecting Brees for less than Joe Mixon. Brees, like the New York Jets are supposed to win this game. I guess that's maybe the concern is they get up by too much or they get up by a little bit and Braylon gets a roll. Whatever it is, I don't quite understand. I can I can see if you wanted to institute the running backs rule for Brees and Braylon just to make Brees the highest projected player on the slate, which I think feels more right to me, but I'm not doing it. I'm sticking with SaberSim. I'm paying the money. I want them to win me the money. You see my salary today. It's pretty efficient out there. It's pretty efficient. I'm leaving only 1,500 and a minimum of 100. And like I said on FanDuel, I'm just whatever. I'm going to take whatever SaberSim says is the best ROI because who cares? That's what I'm doing it for. I'm trying to make a little money. So I'm not trying to win it. I'm not trying to win it the same way I'm trying to win this, right? Like I think I can win this with 3 or 4 dupes and like kind of by boom, picking my spot. It's just a bad game. The way they've made the game. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. The reason we're not talking about FanDuel today, number of possible lineups, and this is a pretty relaxed field, 443. Meh. Not fun. Not fun to play a GPP when there are 433 possible lineups, right? Like we've been talking about, is it millions, which is or is it billions? Yay. And then you get to trillions and you're like, oh God, that's like the number of people in the world. I'm unfamiliar with this. And so, yeah, when it's hundreds, we know not a fun game, like a solved game for sure. Like everybody in the world should be able to work out on FanDuel what the optimal is, right? Like not a problem, not hard, and not fun. So that's like just like I don't play cash games, I'm gonna stop playing this very much at all. Just because I don't care. I don't care who wins this. You know what I mean? Like the salary constraints, like do something if you're gonna have fewer slots, make it so the salary constraints make more possibilities possible. But no, they got a super high floor on all these chumps who are not gonna score any points. Anyway, this is a frustrating system. FanDuel, if you're listening, fix that. I would play so much FanDuel Showdown if you made it fun, like some of your other sports, right? Like you've got this, you've done it before. Like at least do the star MVP thing like you do with basketball. Like do something fun. This is not fun. Okay, so now let's go back. Also, I should say, if you're not having fun gambling, you should call 1-800-GAMBLER and consider whether you are doing too much gambling. However, in this situation, come on, I'm just yelling at the guys. Okay, so I've added too many constraints and now I'm not doing any lineups at all. Yeah, that's what's happened. Gotta change this. You gotta double check that you haven't eliminated all of the lineups with your request for like 2 dupes. Come on, man, that's not that much dupes. Let's go 3. Do I at least have 10 lineups, 92 lineups? Six? Okay, yeah, 92 now. That's better. Mix and Dell. Yeah, it's the same, guys. Now that we've got. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got to say for today. So remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us. A lot of different options tonight, a lot of different sports. Could be us any different way. And remember, late news is the best news. So respond to late news.